Hello everyone, welcome back. We are back with another video in our series where we talk to industry professionals to know about the various job roles in VLSI industry. So today we have Ankit with us. He's a DFT engineer in Intel. So let us hear from him about the job and the kind of opportunities we have in DFT field in the VLSI industry. So hi Ankit, could you introduce yourself a little?
Hi Swati. Thank you for inviting me. So I work as a DFT engineer at Intel. Uh, Previously, I have worked for Qualcomm and ST Microelectronics as DFT engineer. And along with my job, currently I am doing masters as well in VLSI from IIT Roorkee.
Usually people hear about design and about testing. So design for testing will be something new for freshers or even for us when we were studying in BTech or something. We never thought about this field, right? Can you tell about what DFT is, like where it stands? We have heard about verification. We'll talk about design. So design for testing nowadays is very trending everywhere. So all industries have this. So can you talk about what is DFT? Like, can you give basics for understand?
Yeah, same was my case when I just came out of BTech. So we know DFT as design discrete Fourier transform and not design for test. So yeah, DFT is I will say is in a parallel line to verification. Now in verification, we test the functionality of a design, but DFT focuses on manufacturing defect. So with an example, we can see, let's say you have coded an AND gate. So the Verilog code will be simple. You just write A ampersand B. Now you give a test bench for verification with all the four cases. And if you get the correct output in your simulation, you say this is functionally correct. Now, what if in manufacturing that AND gate, a wire is shorted to a high voltage source, VDD, a wire is shorted to a ground. There are issues in etching. Okay, so you say it's functionally correct when you designed it, but it caught a manufacturing defect. So DFT, design for test or design for testability, DFT brings a set of techniques which is helping us to detect the manufacturing defect.
Okay, so like in regular simulation or verification, also this won't be caught. So we need to do additional design to catch these things, right?
Correct, correct. And this is done by, so there is an overhead. So this is done by adding extra hardware to our design. So in simulation, every time it will be perfect because we have not designed it yet.
Yes.
But all the issues that come in manufacturing are under the umbrella of DFT.
Okay. What is it like in the regular day-to-day work? What kind of activities do DFT engineers usually do?
Okay. So in broad, I will say there are a few divisions of work that you can be assigned to. So they are broadly, one is scan and ATPG. ATPG is automatic test pattern generation. Second is memory BIST. BIST is built-in self-test. Third is a boundary scan, also called also used with JTAG Joint Test Action Group. These are all the terms that we come on a day-to-day basis. This is also referred to as IEEE 1149.1. So this is one more division. And fourth one, which is mostly used in automotive chips, which is logic based. Okay. Uh, so scan ATPG and MBIST cover the majority chunk of the DFT work. If you're into this scan, you will be doing scan insertion, you will be generating ATPG patterns, and you will be simulating them in the tool. Uh, Also, the ultimate test of the pattern for a DFT engineer is when it runs on the silicon. So that is when the chip tape outs. So again, you will be involved in that if you're into scan and ATPG. Similarly, if you're into memory based, you will be doing same BIST insertion, pattern generation, simulation for the memory, all the memory elements, because memory and the normal logic are tested differently with DFT. And
Um,
one more will be the boundary scan. Yeah.
So like when we design different chips for different chips, usually for designers and verification, there'll be some feature addition in chip, something like that, right? From one project to another project. But how is it for DFT engineers? Like usually you would work with the same flow, you would do some enhancements to the flow itself, right? Like you do enhancements to the pattern to catch more errors. Like what are the major areas you would focus on? For you, what would be the differences when we go from project to project?
Okay. So for us, yes, overall flow remains the same. But if there is an architecture change from the design side, the testing methodology also changes a bit. Okay. So overall, one goal that we have as DFT engineer is test time, because test time directly tells us about test cost that we want to keep as minimum as possible. Okay. So again, test time, test cost, this relates to the test patterns. So we focus on covering the design, which we call coverage, covering most part of the design with the minimum number of patterns that we can. And that should take minimum time to simulate and ultimately on the silicon. So our goal is high coverage, low pattern.
Okay, like for design, it would be like either area, power, all of those optimization, right? For you, it is more time and number of patterns, like
Uh,
reduction in number of
time, number of patterns.
Okay. So because
Yes,
for
yes.
DFT, I don't
Patterns
think
are to be run on the tester.
for
Yeah.
DFT, I don't think we would optimize for power or anything because anyway it will not be on the running chip.
Although we do actually, we do.
Okay.
Uh, I think DFT is one of the field which takes into account all of the domains. Okay.
Oh,
So even we take all the clock gettings that you say, right, for power optimization, that is also there. We have some more hardware that is also again for time and ultimately power as well.
okay.
Yeah.
For freshers who are in wanting to join DFT or into this field, what are the basic concepts from where they can start? Uh, or for when we are going for the industry as a fresher, should we prepare separately for becoming a DFT engineer? How is that?
Okay. So since DFT is not a part of BTech curriculum mostly, so a fresher preparing for a particular profile will not be proper unless you go for some training. But DFT again, the core of DFT is digital. So for that, you have to prepare digital design, uh, uh, like digital electronics. Second will be Verilog coding. Of course, we get the RTL netlist, okay, and we have to understand it. Sometimes make modifications as well. Then, if in case we are going for particular DFT interview, there are some basics of DFT which we can study in an overall, just like what is scan and benefits of scan chain, or one or two types of fault models stuck at speed. Okay. Uh, Materials also are a bit less for DFT, but there are some good resources which I will mention. Apart from that, some STA basics also we need to cover. Okay. Uh, Materials, how the materials for DFT, there is a very good lecture series from Taiwan University by Professor CM Lee. That is a very, very good resource, very genuine resource for DFT. Apart from that, there are a few NPTEL lectures as well. And there is a book from Bushnell and Agarwal. There is a single book on DFT. That also is a good resource for DFT.
Okay. And what are the tools you use regularly? They're not free, right? They're not be accessible to people. But
Yeah, yeah.
can you give a
That is
detail about
again,
the tool so that for someone who's into this field and they're switching or something, they'll know about what are the tools that are needed, or maybe if they're really interested to go to this field, they can enroll for a course and try to unlearn about the tool.
yeah. So for different activities we have different tools. I'll just mention like a few. So same tool is available from all the vendors that we know, right? Like same activity is done by different vendors, but what I have seen in the companies that I've worked for, So for scan insertion, we need design compiler, which is from Synopsys. Then for ATPG, we use Tetramax from Synopsys or Tessent from Mentor Graphics, Siemens. And for simulation, we use Verdi from Synopsys or Exilium from Cadence. And if we are into MBIST, again, we use these Tessent, Verdi, or Tetramax. So most important is, like, I cannot tell one most important, but most frequently used are these DC, Tetramax or Tessent, and Verdi, because this gives a complete flow. We have come from scan insertion to the simulation.
None of these are open source, right? Everything is licensed.
Yeah, that's a problem in DFT. We cannot get any tool which performs as much as far as I know. We do not have any tool that will do a scan insertion and generate patterns, because the problem is netlist comes into play, and for netlist we need libraries, so that we cannot get it. That's the one issue in learning DFT.
Okay. And how is the nature of work? Like where in the exact design cycle DFT comes? Are you involved even post silicon sometimes, or late stage of design cycle? Where does actually DFT come, and how is the deadlines for engineers working in DFT? Is it very too much work?
Okay,
How is it?
okay, I will elaborate this one.
Yes.
So, DFT is one of the rare fields which as per my knowledge, which deals with almost all the teams. So there are multiple cross team works. How is it that we do some MBIST insertion in the RTL itself? So we have to involve with the RTL team. Scan insertion, for that we have to get involved with the synthesis team. Then we do our timing simulations. For that, we need the help of synthesis team as well as the STA team. Okay. And then we also deal with the IP teams, because we use certain specific IPs like PLL, also some specific to vendor IPs like OCC, compressor, decompressor. So all these teams we are involved with. Apart from that, this role continues even before and with silicon and post silicon, because we give our ultimate test is testing the pattern on silicon, and after that when the bug comes, then again we are involved in solving a silicon. So the usual DFT people are involved. One project will go on, they will be doing the post silicon activity. In parallel, the other project will be in the initial phase or in between phase. You have to be there as well, because post silicon activities, it take time, and you cannot guarantee that there is a bug in silicon you will solve it tomorrow. They will be new, and with every coming tech node, the issues are changing. So we don't have a particular method that okay, this will work. And regarding deadline, again, directly tester and money is involved. Usually companies which like companies don't all the companies don't have their in-house fab, so they will get it manufactured from a third party company, let's say a TSMC. So everyday tester, it will have a cost. You will have particular days that this will be the time when you will test your patterns. So again, you have a very hard deadline for the tape out there. And day-to-day activity will be within team will be there, and cross team also multiple activities will be there, because we take many inputs cross teams. For ATPG, we want the SDC, SDF from timing team. Then we want to give the feedback to them yet that you regenerate with our changes. Also, synthesis team will take feedback from us because extra hardware is being added. Sometimes we want some particular hardware or particular changes for DFT, which might impact their clock tree, their timing. So it's a cross teamwork.
So in general, you're involved throughout in the chip design, right? From the start till the end, you would be involved in with various counterparts.
Correct. Yes, yes. That is there with DFT.
Okay. So, what is the scope of DFT engineers in the industry? Like, as far as I know, like every company would have a DFT section, and nowadays there are more people in DFT and verification across in all the companies, right? So, Is it uh, only product-based companies have, or even service-based companies do have DFT engineers? How is it in India, like the scope for DFT engineers?
Okay. So as we are getting like more complex with the chips, right? We see testing has become more prominent. We see more number of DFT engineers nowadays, and DFT has a lot of weightage as well in the design cycle. Because it has proved its benefit that you are able to do multiple tests, like test the manufacturing defect. There is a test called burn-in test, with which we do the aging test. So it has proved a cost-effective method. Like the benefits that it has, it overweights the testing cost that we do from DFT, the hardware and the testing cost. So the DFT like scope is ever increasing, and it is getting to a left shift mode. Like now we get involved more in the RTL time itself. That is one part. Regarding the people, so like people and the work. So in the product company, obviously we have big teams for DFT in all the companies that I have worked or seen, and it is increasing as well because the complexity is increasing. That is one part. Second, in service-based companies. So again, wherever I have worked, uh, due to the bulk of work and the nature of work, like I'll tell you some. We have certain blocks. We have different sets of patterns, different number of patterns, which can take days. So we need multiple people like doing the things in parallel. Okay, so for that, obviously, the service-based companies also have a large number of DFT force, which product companies use. Even in the EDA companies as well, DFT work goes on in two ways. One is for their own IPs or their own work. Second is support to these product-based companies. Like we use all our work is dependent on one is design that is our own. Second is all the EDA tools that we have. So we constantly deal with EDA engineers. Like we have regular issues or regularly we get stopped at somewhere. And then we have connection with the EDA engineers as well. Just a small example, something we are running, let's say it takes 3 days. But an EDA engineer suggests us that you use this switch, which has come in our new version. It might reduce it to 1.5 days. So it's a big help that we get. 1.5 days in one block into let's say you 12 block, and this help will go on for all your products in future. So yeah, so I think it is increasing. Like in short, if we say it is increasing like with a rapid force.
So for freshers, like you said, because it's a little niche field, either you should have done a course on DFT or you should have done a master's certification for having DFT courses. So if anyone from BTech or fresher wants to join, do you think there is any room for that? Like, do they have opportunities? Can they try directly, or do you recommend anything for a fresher? Or
Uh,
any service-based companies that can hire them? And usually service-based companies do hire BTech graduates, right? And they have some bond for a few years, then they learn all the concepts, and then they usually
yeah,
move to product-based. So
yeah,
something like that is
yeah.
possible in DFT.
So okay, I will not recommend anything particular, but I will tell what all the ways that we can enter. One is obviously companies when they go to campus, then they will hire for DFT fresher, but they will just mainly test your basics of digital. That is one. Secondary, obviously, sometimes off-campus hiring is also there, and company people are smart enough, right? They know that you don't know as a BTech fresher DFT, but yeah, if you're good with digital concepts and Verilog, you can be taught things, right? Like I also entered after BTech. My internship was in a different team, CAD team, but then I entered with a digital interview within the same company. That is one. Secondary, third is the current day trend, which is getting into a service-based company because they hire freshers and they will give you the work along with the product company. uh, the learning might be little slow there because you have you have a barrier, a small barrier that you'll work, but you will work with a small barrier, which is a fact. Okay, so it will take time, but this is another very good thing, that to work directly in DFT and in a live project. And if you only work that, that is okay, but along with that, if you keep studying the DFT concepts, then that is again a very good way to be relevant and to enter a product company. About courses, personally I have not done. I will not be able to comment, but uh, since tools are like not free here, so I think courses are another way that you can get tools and do the projects. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing all the details. So you have anything
Yeah.
that could motivate people to go to DFT field? Like, how is it that you're finding it interesting in DFT? What keeps you motivated to be working for a DFT team and work for design for test?
Yeah. Uh, again, one big motivation is the cross team. Like you have multiple things to work on. Okay, and in case you get a bit overwhelmed with only one part of the work, let's say DFT, you can anyway anytime, like you can take up a small work, or you can take some STA thing which helps in DFT, and you can learn that. You can learn about synthesis because you have to do the scan insertion, so you will be learning that. One side, it might be multiple things that you have to handle, but another side, like you will not get bored, or you will always have something different that you don't know. So that something new that you don't know will come usually. That is a good motivation. That you will never be able to say that, oh, okay, yes, I have done it, because next day new challenge, and that is not your team's let's say core skill. You have to learn something, then deal with that.
Yeah, that
So
will
I
be
think not
interesting.
knowing, yeah, not knowing something and being excited, that keeps us up.
Yeah, that will be interesting. Like you will have a broadened scope wherever you want,
Yeah,
whichever you want, you can explore when for short durations and
correct.
work on that.
Yes, yes, that is it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ankit. You have any material or courses or anything you want to recommend? You can share it to us. I'll put it in the link for description.
Okay. I have collected a list set of resources. I usually post also on LinkedIn
I
some
have seen
resources
your.
or some.
I also used to see the basics DFT posts. You had done one series where you posted about all the
Yeah,
basic things in DFT, right? That was very
yeah,
interesting. You had written it in
yeah.
simple manner, so anyone can
Yeah.
understand.
Actually, resources for DFT are very few, and I had this problem when I had joined. It took large amount of time to learn basics or collect resources. Okay, so I thought, let me collect. So I have collected and I've made a website that also I will share. Yeah. So obviously resources for DFT are a bit scarce, and we don't have a particular resource as we have in coding. But some very good resources are one. There is a lecture series by Professor CM Lee from National Taiwan University. That is, in my opinion, the best resource for DFT. We have lecture series from Professor Indranil Sengupta from IIT Kharagpur. There's He has a full series on complete design. There are few lectures on DFT, four or five. Then there is a lecture series again from Professor Santanu from IIT Kharagpur. Uh, After coming into the industry, the best sources for learning are the EDA vendor websites and their user guides. So there are very good user guides from Synopsys and Mentor Graphics, because I have not worked with Cadence DFT tools that much. That is there. And there is a book from Bushnell and Agarwal, Essentials of Electronic Testing. Apart from that, I have also collected from all these resources and made set of series of posts. So I have a website that also I will link for the audience. There I have collected all the basics which you need to start into DFT.
Yeah. Thanks, Ankit. We will share whatever links you give it to us in the description. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.